On June 16, 2023, Crystal Candelario placed a frantic phone call to 911. She had just found her 16-month-old daughter, Jaylyn, unresponsive in her playpen. When the first responders arrived, they witnessed a scene so heartbreaking, even the hardened investigators could not hold back their tears. The death of the toddler was not the most disturbing part of the case. It was the unimaginable truth of who was responsible for her death. This is the tragic case of little Jailyn, who was left alone for 10 days without food and water by the very woman who gave birth to her. If you like art with a touch of mystery, you are in the right place. Come on in. Welcome to Mrs Arty. When I heard about the case, it physically made me sick. I chose outdoor for the most part of the painting because the cool breeze, the nature kind of took my mind off it. The interesting part of the painting is I question myself if the sea is taking the crib away from us or returning it to the seashore. I don't believe in reincarnation, but in this case I want to. Maybe little Jaylyn will experience what family truly means one day. This painting is dedicated to all the young children who did not get the opportunity to explore the world much beyond their crib rails. But you know what? When I think about them, I find comfort in the thought that no matter how short their lives were, they were loved deeply, hugged tightly, and they were cared for. But unfortunately, Jaylyn was not one of them. So let's dive in. On January 26, 2022, Crystal Candelario, a 32-year-old Ohio Cleveland resident, gave birth to her second daughter, Jaylyn. Jaylyn had the most beautiful big eyes and the cutest smile you can imagine. So it all began 16 months later on June 6, 2023. A doorbell camera captured Crystal going out with her luggage and nothing else. Crystal's elder daughter, a 7-year-old, was staying with Crystal's mom in Ecuador and Jaylyn was at home alone. Crystal went to Puerto Rico and Detroit for her summer vacation. Crystal was partying hard miles away from her home when at home a doorbell camera recorded desperate cries of Jaylyn. Crystal came back on June 16, so basically after 10 days of vacationing with her boyfriend and other friends. As you all can imagine, Crystal must have been disappointed to see her 16-month-old daughter, who she had left alone for 10 days in a playpen with just a few bottles of milk, not breathing. Sarcasm alert. Maybe she had expected the 1-year-old to greet her at the door upon her arrival with a bouquet of flowers or something. She changed her into clean clothing and placed that 911 call and put out a show of a distraught caregiver. Remember, she changed her clothing before calling 911. The medics arrived and found little Jaylyn emaciated, extremely dehydrated, dead in her playpen. The bottom liner of the playpen was soaked with urine. Her blanket was filled with feces. Police found traces of fecal matter in her mouth and under her fingernails. I believe Crystal had tried to clean her up before police arrived, but could not get rid of these evidences. Jaylyn died due to starvation and extreme dehydration. The most painful death one can ever imagine. I can't stop thinking about what she had been through in the final hours. How lonely, how betrayed, how scared she must have felt. She probably looked for people she trusted to hold her for one last time. She was too little to form a sentence in her head, I think. She could only feel raw emotions, like fear. In her first police interview, Crystal's demeanor was calm and casual. She wasn't fluent in English, she was switching to Spanish every now and then, but it felt like she understood English fine. She also tried to create an impression about Jaylyn that she always had stomach issues. She lied constantly, saying she found her in that condition that day when she woke up. She also said she was home with her the whole time, and she added that the night before the incident, Jaylyn had a stomach pain. In the second interview, investigators were already aware about the truth. They had already collected all the evidences like her travel log and doorbell camera footage. Still, they questioned her and she pretended that she didn't understand English at all. She also claimed that she left Jaylyn unattended only for 5 minutes that morning because she had to go to the pharmacy. When she realized that investigators already had all the evidences, she confessed. Now, I don't buy defense's argument about her mental health issues. She tampered crime scene, she lied, and blamed Jaylyn's health even to save herself. In her defense, it was mentioned she had tried to take her own life in the past. You know what? Even if it was true, I believe she did that to grab attention only. The way she tried to save herself from going to jail, no, I don't believe she had any mental health issues. Being selfish does not count as a mental health disorder. Luckily, the judge did not buy her defense and sentenced life imprisonment without possibility of parole. The judge called it the ultimate betrayal. What Crystal said at the courtroom only reconfirms my argument. She said, God and my daughter Jaylyn have forgiven me. Oh really? What makes her think that? She is such a narcissist. For her, forgiveness equals to a clean slate. No harm done. No guilt. I would also talk a little bit about things that could have been done. So neighbors heard Jaylyn cry for days. Crystal had abandoned Jaylyn before for months. That time, she left her with neighbors. Given the history, they should have contacted authorities then and there. I wish Crystal's mother had checked in on her during that 10-day period. She uploaded many photos of her partying on Instagram. Why nobody asked her about Jaylyn? Jaylyn could have been saved if people intervened. Second thing, motherhood is hard. I don't consider Crystal a mother. I think you have noticed I have purposefully avoided calling her a mother throughout the video because she is not. Motherhood has nothing to do with giving birth, but there are mothers, parents who struggle to take care of their children without help. And especially in the West, you are expected to raise your child on your own. But it truly takes a village. So if we see a parent who is struggling, let's not judge them. Let's support them. We can prepare a meal or offer to babysit. At the least, we can talk to them and make sure they don't feel shy to ask for help. Not in this one, but in many cases, bad things happen because parents get overtired or they lack support. Crystal wanted to get rid of Jaylyn, and she thought she would get away with it by playing naive. She got rid of her for sure, but many of us will always remember her face and think of her once in a while when we hug our own child.